Good morning, and welcome to this special meeting with the Ambassador of Liberia to France. Today we have the honor of speaking with the diplomat whose role is crucial in strengthening the ties between Liberia, France, and West Africa. We are primarily pleased that our audience, composed of young decision makers or just curious people, can ask their questions and be inspired by his vision on the issues that concern us all, including diplomacy, the economy, regional security, education, and the culture. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
And granting us the opportunity to interview you. To begin, we'd love to hear about your mission that you've set for yourself within your tenure here in France, and the vision that kind of guides all of your actions.
Thank you. Firstly, I'm Liberia's ambassador accredited to France, but with multiple accreditations. One is Spain, Portugal, Monaco, Greece, Cyprus, Switzerland. And so I've come with the understanding and the marching orders from my president, who is the chief foreign policy architect of Liberia and the chief implementer of the foreign policy of our country as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And so we have a development agenda called the ARREST Agenda for Inclusive Development that emphasizes agriculture, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. And so under that agenda for inclusive development, we've decided as a country to target what we refer to as development diplomacy within the context of economic diplomacy. And the intent is to be able to attract opportunities from these countries to which I have been accredited, to go to Liberia and create opportunities for Liberian young people. And the opportunities we attract is supposed to be something that will be a win-win partnership. So we are engaging with our primary focus is while we focus on bilateral and multilateral engagements, we will also do that within the context of trying to attract opportunities, whether it's in schools, whether economically, and the rest of it, to be able to put people to the disposal of our country, and then they maximally benefits our young people. We are a country that has emerged out of 14 years of fratricide, debilitating civil upheaval. And so most of our young people who were abused, misused, and as war tools or instruments, are people who need opportunities. So it is not lost on us as a government to be able to concentrate on that. So as we engage in France and the rest of the other places, it is glued on our mentor sheets that we have to be able to ensure that happens. So the mission as a whole has been embarked upon that on our leadership.
Right. And I saw actually you in a speech in Normandy where you kind of encouraged the diaspora, the Liberian diaspora, to contribute to the growth in back home in Liberia as well. So is that something you're also pushing for, to also contribute towards not just the policies of arrest that are generating that kind of growth, but also the diaspora helping that group as well?
Yeah, before coming here, I've been informed that there has been this situation of lack of unity amongst our citizens here. They've not been under a single umbrella organization that coordinates them. And so having come, I thought that it was very necessary to engage with them, firstly, and then secondly, try to impress upon them to find more reasons why they should unite instead of finding some reasons why they shouldn't unite. And so when I went to Normandy, I thought it was very necessary to be able to impress upon them, call upon them, to ensure that our diversity must not be used as a foundation seed to be able to sow discord, but we should turn it into something positive that leads to unity. And so I can report proudly that after that speech was delivered, the Liberian community has moved to establish an interim leadership, and the interim leadership is working to ensure that things move as they should.
That's amazing to hear. Yes. So you have a lot of things on your plate. You're managing relationships with surrounding nations amongst France, and then including encouraging the arrest policies, and then among that, encouraging unity among the people. But I wanted to kind of discuss as well that Liberia is currently seeking France's support for the non-permanent seats among the UN Security Council. So why is this candidacy so important to you, and what kind of contributions do you hope to make if you are granted the seat?
I think you are a little bit late. Liberia sought the globe's support, having been selected by the African Union. Liberia and the Democratic Republic of Congo were preferred to occupy the 2 seats. And so early June, the first week of June, there was a convergence in New York, and that convergence led to the election of Liberia to the non-permanent seat of the United Nations. The core of your question is what Liberia seeks to provide to the world. Liberia is a founding member of the League of Nations after World War I. When the League of Nations went away and World War II emerged and devastated the world, Liberia thought that it was necessary to continue to play an important role in peace building or contributing to global peace. And so we are a founding member of the United Nations. It should not be lost on you that Liberia is the first independent country on the African continent. There were a group of repatriated free slaves from the United States who landed on the 15th of December 1821 in a space called Tozay Island, and later on got named Providence Island. And then Liberia was founded. We declared our independence in 1847. And so since then, we've been contributing to peace. Sub-regionally, there is a group called Mana River Union that Liberia contributed to its founding. It initially started with Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, but then now La Côte d'Ivoire is a part of it. So that is an architecture intended basically to promote peace regionally, sub-regionally. And then ECOWAS, Liberia is also a founding member of the Economic Community of West African States, which doesn't only concentrate on the economy, but also concentrate on peace building, state building, and the rest of it, democratization, and the legal framework that our people should be able to operate in West Africa to ensure that peace doesn't collapse. So Liberia is a founding member of that. So it speaks to our credential as a country that is positioned to be able to contribute to the world peace. And so it was not a mistake for the African Union to decide that Liberia should be a candidate for the non-permanent seat. And so we've gotten elected. Our focus is to be able to sit at the level of the Security Council, study the situations of instability around the world, contribute to what we refer to as preventative diplomacy, a diplomacy bent on ensuring that you prevent crisis, and then if crisis occur, to preoccupy ourselves with peacekeeping, peace building, and negotiations and the rest of it. So that is going to be Liberia's preoccupation. In January, we are taking our seat, and when we shall have taken our seat, we will be preoccupied with working with international actors on the global stage to ensure that Liberia contributes significantly to reducing some of the crisis on the globe and contributing to the stability of the planet. Because it is only within a stable environment that many things will happen. You cannot discuss improved economy in a state of instability. You cannot discuss agriculture. You cannot discuss science. You cannot discuss the rest of the things because in instability, the mind focuses first on stability before you start discussing the rest of the things. So Liberia's preoccupation at the Security Council will be to contribute to the stability of regions that are troubled and then contribute to ensuring that the root causes of some of those instabilities are addressed and then focus on how United Nations through its agencies can be able to contribute to the bread and butter issues of people who occupy the globe.
I see. And I apologize for my previous discussion, but you mentioned that peace is kind of the forefront of this ideology of kind of pursuing stability, right? Yeah. And Liberia is kind of a symbolism of that, as you mentioned, coming out of 2 civil wars and now in a stable democratic state, right? Yeah. Liberia is kind of this prime example of what it means to constantly pursue stability. But I wanted to ask, is kind of representing West Africa or pursuing kind of more African representation on this panel a goal for Liberia as well?
Say that again?
Having more West African representation on this panel, is that a goal for Liberia?
No, Liberia thinks, why it is true that you could think sub-regionally, regionally, continentally is good to wear the global posture, right? Liberia will not be going there as a country that is not aware that you represent a region, a sub-region, and a continent. We have a continent, we have a regional position, sub-regional position on issues, continental positions on issues. So if this seat is for Africa and Liberia is occupying it, then Liberia goes there understanding that you occupy, you want to be taking into consideration the regional, the position of the regional economic communities in Africa as well as African Union position on issues. And it is clear that the position will be to be an exporter, contributor to peace and stability of the world and security.
I see. Okay, thank you. And you mentioned that with the arrest policy, that's a part of it is kind of spurring economic growth within Liberia. And Liberia is known to have a lot of these natural resources, like wood, I believe, and it's also seeking to diversify this economy as well. So what opportunities are you offering amongst the different nations that you mentioned, like France, Spain, and such, to kind of spur European investors, or is that a goal for Liberia?
Liberia has enormous economic opportunities. We have enormous natural resources. Our concentration will be a gain-gain partnership, not an exploitative one, where you come and take everything from us. We are left with nothing substantial to be able to contribute to building a foundation. The foundation that might not have been laid for this generation of Liberian leaders to inherit must be laid by this generation of Liberian leaders to bequeath to the future generation. And so on the foundation, on that premise, the concentration with attracting economic opportunities to Liberia is not just loose, but within a framework of ensuring that it's a win-win, where you come, you invest your resources, create jobs for our people and the rest of it, but then it lays a foundation for sustainability of our country and be able to address some of the gap that exists in terms of employability of young people and the rest of it. So yes, we are trying to attract these opportunities across the region that honor our jurisdiction in terms of accreditation, but we are doing it within the context of informing our partners. We are encouraging to come. That is a win-win situation. We create the fertile ground through legislation, laws, the peaceful environment, secure environment to attract. You come, and then we sit on the table, have conversations about how your resources can have returns, at the same time how Liberia's resources, your investment can have returns, and how our resources can have returns that can be able to impact positively, not only just generation, but the generation after this one and several generations to come.
I see. So a lot of the focus is on this younger generation, and I wanted to ask kind of how's Liberia pursuing that kind of growth as well within the nation? Is it pursuing investments for this universities or schools, or is it encouraging students to kind of diversify their immigration and kind of go to schools in France and such, and then come back and support Liberia?
Liberia looks forward to a time where our young people will not have to leave from Liberia to go to other countries to look for scholarship or scholastic opportunities or academic opportunities. We look forward to that. Meanwhile, if there are opportunities that we can put to the disposal of our young people or people who have interest in going to school, to go abroad, acquire those skills, and come back home and serve as people who can be able to start a change that can help our country to move forward. That will be it. Africa, I'm told, our continent is young. And Liberia is no exception. So if the continent is young and Liberia is no exception, then it means our concentration, if we need a better future, should be on the young people. while at the same time listening to the wisdom of the elders who will be guiding us as we move into the future. The elders have got their own challenges that might have impacted some decision making in time past. And then this generation has its own challenges. But bringing those issues before the judgment seat of reasoning, rationalizing them, and finding ways out that can be able to lay the foundation seed of growth, advancement. We look forward to African young people competing on the global stage, standing there as equal actors, but not as recipients or as some sort of people who are just supposed to be second-class citizens of the world. That is our concentration, and to do that is to be able to exercise the flexibility of the younger generation, older generation, rationalizing things, finding reasons why they can be able to move into the future with the heads up and strategically focusing on how generations after us can be proud that this generation existed and laid the foundation.
That's amazing to hear. And for these investments, you mentioned as well earlier that the ground of it is building this trust, and through that, it's kind of having these conversations where you sit down and you speak to these investors directly, and you kind of are very transparent with that. So is there, I guess, kind of a movement towards those investments, or are we seeing that kind of growth already happening in Liberia?
In fact, having come to France, what I did was to engage with two major groups. It's Business France and MEDEF. And there's a meeting even pending for this week with Business France and MEDEF. And the intent is we are planning to have some business forum, Liberia France Business Forum here. And whether it will happen before February or after February is another thing. It's contingent upon the kind of conversations that we'll be having and what will go into the planning process or processes. As we speak, we are also planning for Liberia EU, European Union Business Forum, that should be held in 25th and 26th of February in Brussels. And all Liberian diplomats or missions on the European continent have been mobilized to be able to work to ensure that we talk to the business community in Europe to attend a function. At that function, project proposals, opportunities that exist in Liberia be presented, and how we intend to partnership to promote, execute, operationalize a win-win situation within the investment sector will be amplified. And so, yes, we have open arms to invite investors to come to Liberia, but within the context of ensuring that you come and we promote win-win. And it is not going to be one side wins and one side loses, but it's going to be a situation where every side wins, and we will be doing that win within the context of ensuring that opportunities are created, especially for the young people. If the young people do not have employable skills, the opportunities should put employable skills to the disposal of the young people. If the young people do not have jobs, then the opportunities must put jobs to the disposal of the young people. So it is within those kind of contexts that the conversations are being held, and then within the context of improving our economy. We know that our country is challenged in some areas, and to be able to address those challenges, to be able to put those opportunities to the disposal of our citizenry. We need jobs, we need improved economy, we need improved roads, we need improved agriculture, we need improved electricity, we need improved sanitation, we need improved everything. So to be able to achieve the improved everything we need is to be able to engage with investors on a platform that gives an understanding of what we want clearly, and how can we achieve that and what they want, and then we'll find a middle ground, and then we can be able to thread the route we can thread to be able to achieve our objective as a country, and they can be able to achieve their objectives as investors.
Amazing. And I know you kind of acknowledge already that Liberia is a nation in itself, and it's not to be grouped as kind of as this West Africa West Africa as a nation in itself, kind of. But oftentimes, countries have to. What is happening in their neighboring countries, at least, is kind of affects what's happening in its own nation, right? So in that kind of state, West Africa is going through a lot of turbulence. There's a lot of, at least a few military takeovers surrounding your nation, right? So with that ongoing crisis in political tensions and security threats as well, what role does Liberia play in this context? Or is this kind of a standalone ideology that you're holding here as well?
Liberia's ideology about our region is peace, stability, and security. That is our ideology. That's the ideology that propelled Liberia to form part of the establishment of the Man River Union. That's the ideology that propelled Liberia to form part of ECOWAS. That's the ideology that propelled us to join or to be a founding member of OAU. In fact, OAU, that is not African Union, its first foundation meeting was held in the northern part of Liberia called Saniquale. So it tells there were 3 African presidents that met there and then started a conversation about establishment of OAU. So it tells what Liberia has been doing. Even the United Nations and the rest of some other continental bodies. So it is unfortunate that instability has shown its ugly face in Liberia. I mean, in our region. Liberia experienced several crises. Sierra Leone experienced several crises. And Black Cote d'Ivoire experienced several crises. We are in the same sub-region. We graduated from those thanks to ECOWAS through their interventions and thanks to United Nations through their intervention. What is happening with military takeovers in the rest of it in the region is unfortunate. We hope that we can move to the point where democratization becomes the order of the day and democracy can be able to clearly speak to the bread and butter issues of our people so that military takeover cannot be an attractive option to anybody. So once our democracies can be able to speak to that, but the fact that you have this situation of the Central Sahel region, for example, being the biggest hub of terrorism-related deaths on the globe, it's worrying. Young people have peopled those movements, the radical movements there. And if you have young people in West Africa, young people in Liberia who are not busy, who do not have opportunities, the tendency for them to get exposed to some of those things of radicalization is high. So it's of concern to us. That's why we want to keep our young people busy by giving them employable skills, by providing them technical vocational education as well as academic education, and at the same time attracting opportunities in huge ways that will keep them busy and their productive energies can be put to productive use, because we, as a country, had our civil upheaval 14 or nearly 15 years. 250,000 of our compatriots died. Our infrastructure got shattered and development got stagnated. In order for us to be able to advance, it means we have got to be able to look at what the foundational issues were, the root causes of our crisis were, and how can we be able to address those. And so our governments, previous, current, have been addressing those things step by step, and we intend to continue to address those. And yes, peace, we want to be an exporter, we've been a contributor, and we want to sustain that process of ensuring that peace, stability, and security can be the order of the day in our sub-region, in our region, on our continent, on the globe. That's why Liberia was very interested, not only being members of ECOWAS, African Union, and the rest of it, but going to the Security Council and taking a seat where the issues, peace, stability, security issues of the globe will be brought at that table for discussion. And we want to be there to be able to ensure that we become a subject of history, but not an object of history, by contributing to Liberia's, by contributing to the globe's peacefulness, security, and stability.
That's lovely. Subjective history, but not objective history. I like that. But you touched on this just now, and you mentioned this earlier. Africa's youth population is accounting for over 60%. And of course, that accounts to Liberia, to Ethiopia, to all nations in Africa, right? But, and you mentioned that Liberia is pushing to make these changes to have this youth population, to not have them sitting idly, but give them the opportunities to grow and contribute to the nation in a positive way. And I wanted to hear if there's tangible kind of methods or tactics that Liberia is using to kind of push for this growth in the youth population.
Before the Liberian civil crisis, we had few universities. We have Cottington University, we have Totmek College in the southeast, and we have University of Liberia. Today, we have colleges and universities widespread to be able to contribute to enlightening of the young people's minds or educating people. We have technical vocational education centers all around the place. We have universities numbers ballooning or elasticizing every now and then because people are taking interest in going to schools instead of taking interest in going to the ghettos or going to drug centers and the rest of it. So it tells that Liberia is committed to that. The fact that schools, in fact, our government, as we speak, starting from next month, will be constructing 100 state-of-the-art schools for primary students. So it means at the foundation level, we try to address some of those things. While we're addressing at the foundation level, it's also being addressed at the tertiary level. While those things are also happening, the government is taking interest in building bilateral relationships that create opportunity for scholarship, whether the Chinese, the Indians, the French. In fact, the French government, through the ADF, l'Agence Française pour le Développement, 18, and about 80 students have benefited from the process at the Ofoe-Boigny Polytechnic in La Côte d'Ivoire, which tells, because we are English speaking, so you cannot just jump from Liberia like that and come to France and start going to some schools that are French speaking and the rest of it. So the pathway is to be able to start with the Ofoe-Boigny Polytechnic, where you go there, you technical, vocational, what sort of degrees you have, and then after that, we can be able to up it to people coming to France itself to acquire opportunities. So those are windows of opportunities that we are creating, right? Locally and internationally. And there are resources. The Moroccans are putting sufficient scholarships through our bilateral arrangement to the disposal of our people. And so, yes, even my secretary that sits here is a graduate from Morocco. She went there, she did her undergraduate studies, she did her graduate studies through bilateral scholarship. So those are opportunities that we are exploring as a country to be able to ensure that what was not the situation in the past is the situation now, and it can be improved on for the future.
I see. And you mentioned that there's the opportunities for these students to get the scholarships to get educations outside of Liberia, but also opportunities, to return, and opportunities not only for the Liberian students to leave and come back, but outside students like you mentioned, China, India, Indian students to come and study in Liberia. Is that one of the forefronts things that you're kind of pushing to pursue here, to have this immigration of intellectuals coming to the nations to help spur this growth, or is the focus again on Liberians?
In fact, let me tell you something. At some point during the decolonization project of Africa, Liberia became a destination for people who were interested in acquiring tertiary education. Whether Ghanaians, Nigerians, or other people, and there were professors who were coming at the University of Liberia and engaging in the process. A similar thing continues to happen, right? So Liberia is not only interested in sending people out or our young people to go and become intellectual, we're also attracting intellectuals who are coming, some of them teaching at our universities, and some of them contributing to some think tanks and some research institutions that are established in Liberia. So, yes.
I see. It's amazing to hear. And as we kind of move to the end of this conversation, I wanted to ask if, as you continue forward in your role, and as you just started just a few months ago, if there's a message that you wish to deliver to the young, not only African leaders in Liberia, but also the French young leaders here, and the decision makers of tomorrow, what would that message be?
The message would be, firstly, let us study the situation of our world. Let us understand what has kept some societies backward and what has allowed some society to be advanced. Let us, as a globe, look for the us in us that should speak to us genuinely. To say, in order for this globe to be peaceful, it's good for us to create a platform where we stay on the platform as actors who should rationalize the issues in a way that can be able to address our collective advancement. When we collectively advance, nobody becomes a threat to anybody. Everybody becomes a friend to everybody. In a society where some people have and some people do not have, the hungry man will look for food. And when he goes to look for food, either he looks for it correctly or wrongly. We don't want a society like that. We want a society where everybody cannot be hungry. And so therefore they cannot look for food the wrong way. They have to look for food the right way. So my message is, this generation of world leaders, whether you call yourself, for me, I consider some of you people are leaders of the world.
Right.
Whether you are a student in your class, whether you are a sister to your smaller brother, whether you are an uncle to your nieces and nephews, and the rest of it, we are all leaders of the world. No matter which place and space you occupy with some title. These titles come and go. How well are we contributing to socializing our family, socializing ourselves into believing that to make this globe a peaceful place, it means everybody has to be treated with respect. And we have to recognize and realize that your strength should not and must not be my strength. But my weakness should not be used against me to dump it in the valley. But how your strength can complement my weakness and how my weakness can complement your strength to take our globe from one stage to another stage of advancement that can be sustained should be the message that comes out of me now and to the whole world, that we've existed as a world for several years. There have been crises, there have been issues, and it is in human nature sometimes to want more. Why wanting more, and maybe sometimes not looking behind to see whether the more you are taking is at the disadvantage of the others. But it's good for us to be able to check and say, yes, why I want more. There's someone there who is getting far less. And that far less will serve as a basis for disgruntlement that will honor my peace, stability, security, sustainability, and advancement. And so let there be this mindset that we are all created by God. He did not make a mistake to put us here. The fact that he has put us here and given us here to think, we should not think only for ourselves. We should think for all of us, so that the foundation that might not have been laid years ago to be turned over to us must be laid by this generation of people on this globe currently. Whether you are a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year, 100 years old, whatsoever on this globe, and acting in this space, we should act to make sure that what we turn over to the next generation is peace, is stability, is development, is advancement, is forward march of the globe, so that what we are experiencing today as challenges should not be the challenges of the generation to come. We should be thinking about far better things to do than what we are thinking about. So it's our generational worry. It should be our generational mission to be able to concentrate on it and lay the foundation seed for the forward march of the globe.
I see. And I believe this reminded me actually of this, the quote you mentioned during your speech in Normandy, that if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ambassador, and for this very rich, inspiring conversation. You have shared your vision for Liberia, your initiatives for the youth, your ambitions for economic and cultural cooperation, and your commitment to peace and stability amongst Liberia and globally as well. And for our audience of young, ambitious individuals, the interview is a true lesson of diplomacy and leadership, and we hope that your message of hope, resilience, and cooperation will inspire each one of us to build bridges between nations and work towards more than just a united world, but a just and fair world as well. And thank you again for your time and your availability, and we wish you all the best in the future.
God bless you. God bless our continent. God bless our globe. Peace is where we seek, and peace is where we should have stability and advancement. Thank you.
Thank you.